Let's do it. I have been waiting
Where's my music?
and waiting.
Where's my
Where's the
Hit
fucking
my-
music? Get the motherfucking music ready. Vampiro, Nail in the Coffin, documentary, The Rise and Fall of Vampiro, available on Tubi, my favorite app, my favorite wrestler, Vampiro. I am so excited to do this.
Every time certain scenes would pop up, I'd go like, "Oh yeah, this is why Ryan wanted to watch it." Oh look,
yeah.
they're doing every one of them.
They did it all. They did it all. I have some. Certainly, it wasn't perfect. There were some things that needed to happen a little more, and things that needed to happen a little less. But yeah, we'll get into it. Let's get into it.
Let's do it now.
So we start with Triple Mania, which I believe was Triple Mania 2017. And we see Santos Escobar, who was King Cuerno at the time, I believe,
Mhm.
in a blood match, like a bloody match with John Morrison, who was Johnny Mundo at the time.
Mhm.
And
Two good wrestlers.
they're having a match, and we see Vampiro flipping out. Vampiro is on the headset, like as if like Vince McMahon would be with the commentary team, yelling at the little monitor that he's in front of, screaming, flipping out,
Give him
jumping
the
up
mic.
and down, and like this is I love that they started right away with flip out Vampiro.
Who is possibly in charge of stuff, but is sitting in the back by himself, not near anyone.
No, you could just you knew they were just off camera.
Yeah, but he had to like walk through the arena to get to like gorilla position. Like you'd think he'd be there if he was running it.
Well, he
You
wasn't
would-
that far away.
It's weird, right? Because even the way like they describe him, like some of the talking heads are like, he's good at this. I'm like, who thinks he's good at this? And they talk about like how like the company, it's sort of similar to New Japan, like in the way like a company owns AAA, but then they give Gato the power to book. So it's not like the company is booking, Gato's booking, but they trust him to book and like
Right.
run the show. And that's kind of what Vampiro's doing here. He's like
It's-
a booker
well, it's
entrusted by this company.
Yeah, it's basically like any sports team, normal sports team, has an owner, but then they have, like if they're smart and they're a good team, they have a general manager who's
Right.
not the owner.
Right.
Otherwise, that's just a bad spot to be in.
Yeah. So it's
Cowboys, Jerry Jones.
you paid Dak. What are you talking about? It's good. It's all good.
So much they paid Dak.
A lot of money. A lot of money. Although Billy, you said he wanted him for the Giants. So
No, I did not.
Oh, I thought you said that. Or was that
The
Mike?
way while he's talking about it, I thought he was telling me the Giants signed him.
Oh boy. All right, so Vampiro is flipping out. Johnny Mundo. I don't remember this. I remember you guys watched this one, right? You and Mike watched this together.
Was this the one?
Pretty
It might have
sure.
been. I think it was because they showed Aerostar jumping off the lights.
Yeah, it's that one. So I'm pretty sure
It's the one where Jarrett throws.
Jarrett's throwing the
Yes.
tacos.
Yeah, we did
Same
watch
one.
this
Girl-
Yep, you're
Girl
right.
breaks the other girl's arm.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
A
all the same.
very eventful night. Anyway, Johnny Mundo needs a microphone and no one can get him the microphone. And Vampiro's like, "Give him the fucking mic! What are you fucking doing?" He's just
What
like
are you waiting for?
screaming at the TV. And then Mundo gets on there and he calls out Vampiro. And this is like, Vampiro, come out here. And then we see an angry Vampiro storm out as if he's really mad at Johnny Mundo. But of course, we know he's not because we see it later. And so he storms out and faces off with Johnny Mundo. Like he walks out of the curtain and everybody starts cheering. And that cuts to the opening credits. So we know we're going to go back to that moment.
Oh, we sure are.
And that whole pay-per-view. So Vampiro, Canadian wrestler, decided to go down to Mexico and just get a job. That's how it's described by him.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just decided,
I'm going to Mexico.
I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to show up at AAA, and they're just going to let me wrestle because I'm me. And that's basically what they did. They show him in 1991, and a bunch of people are talking about how he was a Casanova, a ladies' man in AAA. Vampiro himself says this: I never really learned how to properly wrestle. I never learned how to wrestle, but here I am.
He sure did.
First 5 minutes, he's admitting that he doesn't know how to wrestle. First 5 minutes.
He is the best. He is the best. He has this weird warped sense of himself.
Oh, you
In
think?
one sense, he is he's down on himself. Like, he thinks that he's not good at this or that, and thinks he shouldn't wrestle, thinks he's too fat, thinks he's not a good dad, all this stuff. He's very like negative about his own personality. But then on the other hand, he does this. He compares himself to Guns N' Roses. He's as big as Guns N' Roses.
He's a rock star, man. He says, I think, those words. I'm a rock star.
Yeah, I am a rock star. I forget exactly what he said. Guns N' Roses breaking up and me are the same thing, basically, is what he said. Like, what? Okay. We get Jeff Jarrett, which was very exciting. Jeff Jarrett, talking head. He talks about Vampiro and says, basically, like, it's impressive that he is a bilingual guy who's fluent in Spanish and just decided to do this thing, and he went and did it. It's impressive. So I'm like, okay, well, obviously Jeff and Vampiro are tight. They're good.
2 minutes later.
Cut to no, they're not.
Vampiro hates this man.
Yeah, so why is he in your documentary? Maybe that was recorded like before the taco toss happened. I don't know. We get AAA, the history of AAA, which is interesting, and that should probably be its own documentary, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be really cool. A history of AAA documentary.
That would be long too,
like a 5-part series or something. That's like kind of breaks it all down. I think that would be great. Someone should make that.
Can't be Tubi because they probably have no money. So
they don't take anybody in. So, well, I guess they do from the ads, right? Because they have ad breaks. Anyway, Vampiro talks about how wrestling started in Mexico, which I don't think is accurate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we read a comic book about this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it started in various other places, but Mexico has the oldest promotion.
Yeah.
Right.
AAA is the oldest promotion. It's not the birthplace of wrestling, though, I don't think.
They had their own stuff.
They had stuff that was similar, but other places did too, right?
Right.
I'm pretty sure. He talks about, and other various people talk about, the connection between Mexico and wrestling and how it's like just a part of the culture, which they show. Like, every street corner has luchador masks and wrestling things. It's like part of the culture of the city, which is cool.
They show the priest doing mass in the mask.
Yeah.
And underneath it said the inspiration for Nacho Libre. I was like, that's pretty good. Okay.
I like that. The big part of the documentary is Vampiro's connection with his daughter. So we see Vampiro.
Yes, this is a big thing the whole time.
In the middle of an ESPN interview and then a meeting about Triple Mania, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, sorry, my daughter's calling me. I have to take this. And then he's like,
not many people would do that. So
true
for him. Like
very true. But also, like, he has a very typical conversation with his daughter, like a teenage daughter and a dad. Like, what are you doing? Nothing. Like, I'm bored. I don't want to talk to you. Conversation. And he's like going nuts. He's flipping out. I don't really know why at this point. I'm like, why is he flipping out so much? This is like typical teenage kid, like, doesn't want to talk to their parents. And I realized later it's because he left her home alone.
Yeah.
That's why he's freaking out.
And she's what, like 16, 17 or something like that?
I feel like at this point, not even that old. I don't know.
But no, because she graduates, right?
She graduated at some point during the documentary. So between probably
Is
2017
this
and now.
after I think this is after the graduation because he talks about getting a job in this
Yeah.
phone call.
Oh, that's true.
Did you get that job or did you interview or something like that? And she
That's
says
true,
like
you're right.
no. And he's pissed that she didn't go for the interview or something. I don't know. It's like, whoa, what the hell is going on? We get his speech before Triple Mania where he like riles up everybody and talks about how it's an honor and a privilege to be a wrestler and blah blah blah. This is the Triple Mania with the Aerostar jump where he jumped off of the scaffolding,
Which was incredible to
fucking
watch.
awesome.
Yep.
Pretty cool. And then the Sexy Star thing. So Sexy Star,
Which they breezed. They breezed over that.
right?
Yeah, he basically said like, sometimes you get frustrated and you do something you shouldn't do. Okay, if that's all it is, then
Which he says that he always has covered for Sexy Star, which is part of like the controversy that was happening. He was covering her butt for some reason.
yeah.
The story of the match was it was like a 4-way women's match, and Global Force at the time. I'm pretty sure Impact had changed to Global Force, or was it Global Force's Impact? I forget. And they were doing this like talent exchange. That's why Johnny Mundo is there. That's why Rosemary is there. That's why Jeff Jarrett is there, and others. Moose. So Rosemary got put into this match, but apparently Sexy Star had heat with the other 3 people in the match, not Rosemary or the other 2 who hated her. So they started shooting on Sexy Star, which I think, based on what we've heard about her, she probably deserved because she's a piece of shit.
Apparently.
So they were really beating on her and taking liberties. And then at the end of the match, she was supposed to armbar Rosemary and win, I'm pretty sure. Or something like that. Maybe after the match, she was supposed to put an armbar on to get heat. Anyway, Rosemary had nothing to do with nothing to do with that stuff. And Sexy Star put an armbar on Rosemary and never let go and popped her arm out of her shoulder, out of her socket. Because
Which I've never done, but it
pissed.
sounds painful.
Yep, because she was pissed off. So we see the aftermath of that, which is Rosemary going to the back and flipping out on Vampiro. It's like, what the fuck? And Moose is there. I like how Moose is like her watching her back. Like he's right next to her, like nothing's gonna happen to you. Like I'm a huge man.
Yeah.
Vampiro's not gonna do anything. Like nothing's gonna happen. And then we see maybe the best thing part of the whole thing. Jeff Jarrett.
Oh my god.
Pre-taco throw. He's in the back. He's obviously drunk or high or
wasted.
something.
Yeah.
He's wasted. He's jumping around. He's putting like comedian headlocks on people. He's pushing Vampiro's buttons. Like
Vampiro's like you're up. Like the countdown is going for you to be out there.
You gotta go out. You gotta go out. And Jeff Jarrett's like dancing around, putting headlocks on Vampiro. Vampiro's pissed. And then we see Vampiro talk about his WCW run where he just calmly drops, well, Jeff Jarrett's the reason I failed and he's a piece of shit and I fucking hate him. Like, whoa! And Jeff Jarrett's the reason that I didn't wrestle for 6 years or something like that. And it's like,
yeah, like I had a match with him and I didn't wrestle again for 6 years or something.
Like whoa. So why are you inviting him to be a part of fucking AAA? That makes no sense.
Maybe that decision wasn't up to him.
I don't know.
But,
I just put, then why book him on anything? Let alone the company he owns.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And why have him interviewed for the documentary if you fucking hate him so much? Anyway, so Jeff Jarrett finally makes his way out. He throws tacos into the crowd, which is very controversial, like very racist. Like at the time, everyone was like, "Whoa!"
I remember when that was with Mike. I'm like, "Oh my god! Like, is this great heel work or is this just racist?"
Full on racist. Well, anyway, I don't know who he's fighting with. So, okay, he has this match. I don't remember what happened in the match, but I remember he was fucked up and everyone was like, he's drunk or something. And he comes to the back and we get the backstage stuff, which is amazing to see. Has nothing to do with Vampiro really, but we see Jeff Jarrett come to the back and start flipping out and getting in the face of some other luchadors, which I couldn't identify who they were. And then he's yelling like, you are a cunt at someone. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Who is he talking to? And the camera pans and it's Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
He's calling Karrion Kross a cunt. And I'm like, that is a bad idea because I feel like he would destroy you, Jeff Jarrett.
You'd think. I mean, he didn't back down even a little bit.
He was not afraid. He actually, in fact, wasn't even mad because they cut to his face. And
No, I mean, Jarrett though also didn't back down at all.
Right.
Well, he was
True.
drunk as fuck. Of course,
he wanted to fight Karrion Kross. I don't even remember if Karrion Kross was in the match. Was he in the match? I don't even know.
Doesn't look like it.
I don't think so. I think he was there for like a different match. I don't think he was in this one.
Right. So why does he want to fight Karrion Kross? Unless Karrion Kross broke up the original fight, maybe. I could see that being the thing. Anyway, he's yelling at him.
Kross, does he have a different name?
Yeah, Kevin Kross or Killer Kross.
Killer Kross.
Okay, so it's all gonna be that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
no, I don't see him in this match anymore.
Vampiro's yelling at Jeff Jarrett to get the fuck out of there. Like, just get the fuck out of here. And he's yelling at Killer Kross, and Killer Kross is laughing. And like, he's there with another wrestler, and he looks at him and he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. We get like a clip of him panic trying to call his daughter again. And she's not picking up and he can't get service. So he's flipping out. He's like, I can't get service. Why the fuck can't I get internet? Vampiro is. Now we get the clip of Johnny Mundo. We're back to the clip of Johnny Mundo. Microphone doesn't work, can't get a microphone. And he comes out and it doesn't show him do anything with Johnny Mundo. He says, I have arthritis in 85% of my body. Like, how can you even do that? How can you calculate that either?
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
I don't understand this. But then we see his doctor, who's also like a rock and roll doctor.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say, this is the most rock and roll guy.
He's got like a t-shirt, and he says, how many concussions you had? And he says 24 or 5, and he's like, oh, okay, maybe you shouldn't do this anymore. I'm gonna go out on a limb here with my rock and roll medical diploma here. Yeah. We get to see, this is great. I feel like I'm saying this too much, but I love this. We get to see Vampiro's house, which is insane. He says he wants his house to look like a horror movie. He made his countertops concrete, so it looks like he would dissect a dead body on there.
Yeah, it looks like a slab, he kept calling it.
A slab he would put a dead body on. And he has all these like things in his cabinets that say poison on them.
And the cabinets look like coffins. They're coffin shaped.
Everything is coffin shaped.
That's the house he lives in.
Because then his daughter's like, yeah, it's just the way it is. Like,
yeah.
Because that's what she knows. So obviously, but she's like, yeah, it's cool. I'm like,
No.
Why does he have a house with coffin cabinets? Oh, can you pass the poison? I need to put a little salt on my steak. What the fuck?
You I assume, love this though, right?
Oh my God. I was eating it up. If they had done what I needed was more here. Like I needed more house tour. Like I needed
a Cribs,
an MTV
style?
Cribs Vampiro episode. Although it's funny because it's like clearly this dude has some money, but the house outside and like the neighborhood looks very normal. Like he just lives in a normal neighborhood in this normal looking house. But then when you go in, he has this ridiculous setup in the inside of like a regular guy's house. It's so weird. It's not like a mansion. It's like just a regular house.
Like probably a nice house, but
fine.
kind of looked like a ranch style house.
It's like a 1-floor ranch with a tiny driveway, and it's not very big.
And then you
But
go
you
inside,
go-
and there's a coffin, counters, and concrete slabs, and
Yeah, even her
poison.
bedroom is like Dasha's bedroom is very normal looking. Like it's not huge or has this ornate shit. She's got pictures duct taped to the wall, like any old kid would. Like it's so weird. We get 2006 Vampiro, so I don't know when this documentary was being filmed or what. Maybe it was a long time coming, but we see him at gymnastics class.
Oh yeah.
In Mexico. I'm pretty sure it's not in Canada. So we see Dad Vampiro hanging out with his daughter. I will say his daughter seems very level-headed and normal in the interviews. She says she's very thoughtful with some of her answers, where it's not like they portray her earlier on as like a teenage daughter who's like any old teenage daughter. But then she says some stuff and she's just like, well, I don't want him to wrestle, but he loves wrestling. So what am I supposed to like stop him from doing his passion or something like that? It's like, okay, that's kind of advanced for a teenage daughter. Anyway, Vampiro's passed. Oh boy. It's like he has Hulk Hogan syndrome for some of this stuff. Like when he said, I was as big as Guns N' Roses and things like that. Like, what is real and what is not? What is kayfabe? What's not? What's putting yourself over? What's not? What really happened to you? What didn't? Is very hard to separate.
I feel like he's gotten to a point where for him it's very hard to separate.
Yeah, I think we'll get into that at the end with some of the stuff that comes through. So first, he says he was a hockey player in Canada growing up. So now we're back to the beginning. But he said
alive in Canada. He's a hockey player.
He's alive and he was a Canadian citizen. He played hockey. Yeah. Fine, I'll buy it. But then he goes in this whole thing about how amazing he was as a hocky player. He was so good. He just could have been a pro, just didn't feel like it. That's kind of what he says. Like I just didn't care anymore. And then he talks about, let's hope he's okay from this, but how he was sexually assaulted by a priest.
Yeah.
He was on a hockey trip or something. I'm like, holy shit. That turned dark. Then he says he finally saw wrestling. The first thing he saw was AWA Legion of Doom matches, which was the Legion of Doom come out, murder someone while the Iron Man music plays. Like, doesn't ever shut off. That's how quick the match is. It's like 1 minute and the music plays and they kill people and then they leave, which is amazing. So I get why he was drawn into wrestling from there. He started working out in gyms, met a guy named Robert who was a bodyguard for Milli Vanilli. I never thought Milli Vanilli and Vampiro would connect.
I didn't think we'd get so much Milli Vanilli in this.
We
got a lot of
Milli Vanilli. And we know this is real because we got video proof of Vampiro being a bodyguard at concerts. We see him actually being the bouncer with Milli and Vanilli. The hell? He then talks about how him and this guy worked for the mafia.
Yeah.
And their job for the mafia was to rob pimps. So he's out there, he's doing good deeds for the mafia.
Hustling the hustlers.
Robbing pimps. So at 18, he didn't want to work for the mafia anymore. So he decided, I'm just going to leave because that's how it works. And he left and went to Los Angeles.
I got to leave all the way to Canada or all the way to Mexico.
No, LA.
Right.
LA
first he goes to LA. And then we talk more about Milli Vanilli and like a concert that went wrong. He's like, Milli Vanilli were like stealing things. We would go to these fancy parties.
They said like they were just thugs.
They were just stealing shit.
Like British thugs or something.
They saw some stuff at a party, they'd steal it.
They'd get high with like other rock stars, and when the other guys would like pass out, they'd steal all their like watches and shit.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, so Vampiro loves the Ramones. We see a barrage of pictures of him with all the Ramones. And then he talks about how he just went to Mexico and they picked him up because he was just standing around and they liked him. And they named him the Canadian Vampire. That's how it started. The Canadian Vampire. And
Then he joined cults.
we see the promos of him. Yeah, vampire cults all his life. We see promos of him, which he didn't talk about ever in this documentary about being in vampire cults.
Nope.
Just
Left that
became-
part out.
They just decided he was a vampire in Mexico.
They-
Anyway,
Yeah, they mentioned like when he
when he was in
talking
LA.
when he was
Oh,
talking
the
to
promoter.
the AAA guys.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, like they found out that he liked vampires. And that was the most that we got about him liking vampires.
Right. So
Yeah.
this part of the documentary is sorely lacking because I was truly like, I know nothing about Vampiro in Mexico. I know he's a big deal in Mexico. I know about the Conan and him. Never got a long thing. But they do not. They gloss over his career in Mexico.
Yeah. When he
Like-
actually, like, how he gets to be so big.
Super quick. He basically says it immediately I was like the top guy. The second I showed up on television, I was the top guy. It's like, whoa. How is that possible? You were just a vampire. You showed up and like
Who
people
didn't know how to wrestle.
who didn't know how to wrestle, and automatically people were just that seems crazy.
He had the charisma.
Right. So Canadian Vampire, he's just over immediately, over like Rover, which maybe he was. He wrestled 7 times a day, 7 days a week. This is like I walked up a hill both ways. It's cool in the
No
snow.
shoes on
kind
in
of
the
thing.
snow.
Yeah, is that what this
5
is, or is this real?
Uphill both ways, yeah.
He says that here's another one. It's another. We're not sure what the hell the truth is. He says, I fucked up my leg in a match, but I had 3 more matches to wrestle on the same day. And I said, I need to go see a doctor. And they said, no,
Yeah.
you're going to wrestle these matches. Then they gave me a shot and gave me Nubane, which is a form of morphine. So I would go out and wrestle the remaining matches on this destroyed leg.
I mean, that'll do it. Morphine you won't feel anything,
But if your leg is wobbly from the ligaments being fucked up, you still can't wrestle, right?
you wouldn't think so.
I don't know. Seems like a thing that would happen in wrestling, but also like, can a dude wrestle on a fucking torn ligament or whatever this was?
Yeah.
Whatever this was? I don't think so. Can't
He said
suplex a dude, no matter how drugged
said he,
up you
like,
are.
Blew out his knee, and it was
Yeah.
like it was facing the yeah. It's
He
just-
said it was as swollen as a basketball or something like that.
yeah.
And that they
No.
drained it, gave him a shot to numb it, and gave him Nubane, which is a form of morphine. And he wrestled the rest of the tour. He never talks about if he got surgery or not.
No, he did not.
We just
No
move
mention.
on. There's another one. Another vampirism. I did an ounce of coke every weekend for years.
Now, when he says this quote, I remember this because it's stuck in my mind. He's talking about this while his 8-year-old at most daughter is
It's
in
his-
the pool just swimming, and he's
Yep.
like getting interviewed by who knows.
Somebody else. It's just not this
Yeah.
modern. This is the 2006 Vampiro interviews.
Yeah, this is
His daughter's just
like,
playing in the pool, and he's calmly talking about all the cocaine he did, or may still be doing. We don't know. An ounce. Wouldn't you be dead if you had that much?
A
coke?
lot. It is a lot.
And he also
Yeah.
says this, which I like. He said it was always free. That was the problem. It was always free. Like, people are just giving you ounces of cocaine for free. The story seems very flawed. And then he says the thing about the highway or whatever.
yeah,
The highway to
from Mexico City to Pueblo.
Yeah.
is straight.
yeah.
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 And that's what they called the lines that they would do. They would line up all the tables and coffee tables and chairs and shit and put lines of cocaine on all of them and then do them.
Just like one
all?
long line.
One long line. Yep. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. While his daughter is playing in the pool. He's
Is
talking
10
about
feet
that.
away from it. 10 feet away from me. And this was a weird documentary because she was in the pool playing, but she was also being filmed like by someone in the pool with her. So I'm like, what? Who's doing that?
And I think it's footage that they bought or like got a hold of, maybe from another
maybe
thing,
it's like,
or was never used or what. I don't know. AAA maybe had it. I don't know.
Who knows?
Then we get to the good stuff. Conan was more over than Hulk. He was the Hulk Hogan of Mexico. That's not a joke. He was as big as Hulk Hogan. He drew more houses. He drew more money in Mexico than Hulk Hogan drew in America, which is insane to think about. Because
I'll
we're
need
talking
to
about
see your pesos to U.S. dollars conversions there.
we're talking about. I think it was more people
I'm not
and
actually
more
questioning
money.
you.
And I remember seeing the first time I was conscious about Conan, not just Conan K-Dog WCW.
Right. That's how I knew him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not like Mid Carter in WCW, who was cool and I liked, but that he was
Wolfpack.
this massive star. Is I was looking up Meltzer's. This is a long time ago. It was like after college, I want to say, but like in 2007 or 8 or something. I was looking up something that had to do with Meltzer, and it was the awards or whatever. It was like Wrestle of the Year or something. And he won like 3 in a row, I think. And I'm like, Conan, Wrestle of the Year? And it was like 92, 3, 4, something like that. Some range in there because he was supposed to be Max Moon in WWF.
That's right.
In 94, 5, maybe 93. Probably not 93, right? Anyway, I remember seeing that and being like, wait, K-Dog was Wrestler of the Year? And then I started like digging more online, and it was like he drew all this money and he was just like top guy and all that stuff. I'm like, what? He was?
Yeah, I didn't realize
He's
how
kind
big
of like
he was.
old and out of shape, sort of, when WCW. So
and
yeah,
I did not recognize him when they showed him in those early days of AAA.
So he's like crazy jacked. Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy
he was
jacked,
huge.
enormous, and wearing a mask for some of it, but some of it he didn't have a mask, and it was all based on Conan the Barbarian, because he has like the sword and the fur and stuff. In another,
and it's got the Conan the Barbarian like font when it shows his name.
When it shows his name, he's
the Barbarian, not Conan the Destroyer.
Right, of course. There's a part where they show him, and like they're trying to show like how rich and important he is, and he owns a lion. He holds up a lion. Like, let me see your pet, and he holds a lion up. Like,
they go,
what
is
the
that
hell?
real?
Is that a lion? Conan, you're so rich, you own a lion? I am so in. So Conan and Vampiro hate each other because, according to Vampiro, Conan was jealous, and people were talking shit about Vampiro and talking about how Vampiro wanted to take his spot and blah, 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 blah. If you listen to Conan talk about Vampiro, he just says he's a lying piece of shit. There could be validity on both sides.
Possibly.
So they were both in WCW together, and they never really interacted, apparently. And we see like a very quick clip of them. Very quickly, they gloss over this WCW stuff. That's the first time I ever saw Vampiro, was when he was in WCW, being weird with the Insane Clown Posse and fighting Sting and all that. And
Misfits.
Right. So he talks about the greatest thing he did in WCW was he had a segment with the Misfits where his favorite band beside the Ramones, they were doing a show, and they were like his valets for the night or something. I have no memory of this. Don't remember it at all.
No. Nope.
Okay. Then he gets into Burial Town, where he talks about Vince Russo screwed up WCW, which, yes, that's true.
Which is true.
But also part of the major reason was he continually pushed Jeff Jarrett because they were best friends, and Jeff Jarrett ruined the company.
What's your line about his guitars?
It wasn't my line. It's from a documentary. Smashed a million guitars, never drew a dime. So then Jeff Jarrett comes on, and he's like, listen, I don't know what Vampiro's problem is with me. I really don't know. I don't remember being a dick to him back then. I really don't. I could have, but I don't remember that. He's like, I think Vampiro failed in WCW because he looks exactly like Sting, and Sting was super over, and no one knew who Vampiro was. And then he kind of like takes Vampiro's side, like defends him a little bit. He's like, if Vampiro was in 2018 or whatever year this was made, and came to a promotion, everyone would know who he was because we have the internet and we can see these guys, and he would be a big star, and we would know he's a big star, and it would work out way better for him.
It
Because
does seem
it's
to
not
make
just
sense.
a Sting knockoff. Yeah.
Right. Instead of just showing up and everyone like, why does this guy look like Sting but weirder?
That's what I used to think was he's like
Yeah.
Sting's like mini Sting.
Yeah. And then they had a feud against each other, which didn't help either.
Right.
So Jeff, yeah, he says he doesn't really recall ever doing anything to piss off Vampiro, but okay, maybe I did. Then we see more Dasha talk and Dasha's baptism. We see photos of Dasha's baptism. And did you see who Dasha's godfather is?
Yes, Norman Smiley.
Norman Smiley!
I can't say I remember that. I don't know how I missed that.
Norman
Well,
Smiley was there. Maybe
I
not
didn't
godfather,
know
but he was there.
No, he's her godfather because I did a little Wikipedia on Vampiro, and it said Norman Smiley is her godfather. I was like,
amazing. Screaming Norman, the
Good for
godfather.
her.
See, I think she's well adjusted. She's gonna do fine.
I was a little worried about her, but
yeah.
She's gonna be all right. Then we cut
you're gonna
to
make it, kid.
we cut to the end of his WCW run. We see him get power bombed off the top rope by Injury Machine Mike Awesome.
Mostly himself, but also other
Usually
people.
himself, but definitely other people too. So he powerbombed Vampiro right onto his head, and Vampiro says basically like,
He broke his neck.
broke my neck, and I was done.
Yeah.
He said after that he turned down big money to continue to work in other places. Why do I find that to be not real? I don't know. If WWE offered Vampiro big money, why wouldn't he have just taken it? But he says he was hurt and he wanted to be a dad.
He said Japan wanted to give him a 9-year contract for big money, and this is back when we're seeing the 2006 Vampiro doc.
Yeah, right.
He's like, oh, I hate people. I hate wrestling. I just want to be a dad. And you're like, okay.
Yes. So this is where we get more. Vampiro says one thing, but Vampiro says another thing. So we see like 2000 Vampiro being interviewed, and he says, listen, I just want to make amends. I made mistakes in my life. Like, I want to reconnect with the fans, blah, 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 blah. Like, saying all the right things. Then we see 2006 Vampiro. Somebody asked him for an autograph, and he says, fuck you. I fucking hate people. The exact opposite of what he just said.
Yep.
We get an interview with Karrion Kross where he says that basically Vampiro is just nuts. He said he's got good ideas and he can do stuff, but once he gets in crisis mode, basically he starts to go nuts.
And that's how we like go into this thing. The whole thing was him in crisis mode.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how we start this thing. So he talks about how he moved to Canada. Dasha says she needed to leave. She was being bullied in school. And so he brought her to Canada to get her away from all that and to get himself out of being famous and being asked for autographs and stuff. And so he went to Canada and he had a real simple life and it was real quiet. Nope, wrong. He opened a self-defense school and joined the Guardian Angels.
I love the fact that he brought the Guardian Angels there. I thought that was cool.
They show him
talking to the Guardian Angels guy. He's a big guy who wanted to do it.
Yeah, somebody actually wanted us, so we went. Oh my god! So the Guardian Angels, they show Vampiro go into like a city. I don't know what Canada calls it, but like a city council meeting. Is like, hello, I'm Vampiro. I'm here to talk about the Guardian Angels. Like, oh my god, Vampiro! Just like everyday Vampiro is my favorite. as we're gonna see later too.
Him and trying to be in society.
Yes, Vampiro trying to be a regular citizen.
Yeah.
We see Vampiro now at Lucha Underground, and they talk about how great he is at putting things together and how indispensable he is at Lucha Underground because he can book matches and agent them and commentate and kind of, get everything going in the backstage. We see Chelsea Green as whatever she was, Black Arachne or whatever her character was in Lucha Underground, going over her match with Pentagon Jr.
Yep.
And they're like, it's kind of interesting to see two wrestlers like pretend wrestle and like talk about what they're going to do. And then we see some of the match. Then we see our boy, Matt Stryker, talk about Vampiro. And he's like, Vampiro, the guy, he's not my friend. Vampiro, the dad, is why I like you. Like, I really can't stand you.
Crazy guy, not so much.
Crazy guy, you weird me out. You talk about it wanting to, get off on violence and you be Viagra Vampiro and you creep me out in these shows, but at the heart of everything, you're a dad, so it's okay. Killer Cross talks about how in AAA, Vampiro wanted to do this angle or something, and he wanted to take the Saito suplex from Killer Cross, which is a nasty looking suplex as it is.
And he basically says, like, why don't we do something different?
Yeah.
Killer Cross doesn't want to do it. He says, no, you're going to get hurt. It's not going to go well. You're not trained. You're not in shape. You've had 25 concussions. This is all bad. I don't want to do this to you. But apparently he was convinced. Vampiro said, just do it. Just fucking do it. So he does it. And what do you know? Vampiro is super fucked up from this suplex. And we see him basically, he needs a cane.
Yeah,
like we see him at home and he can barely move.
To walk. Yeah.
He can barely move. His back is all fucked up. They said he was knocked out because Killer Cross, he said, which is another thing that was interesting. He said, I lean down and I do what I always do. I grit my teeth at him and I said through my teeth, are you okay? This is hilarious. Every time I see a wrestler,
my finger at him, like yelling at him, "Are you okay?"
Every time I see a wrestler do this now, I'm gonna think that they're having an actual conversation. What are you gonna do after the show? I'm thinking about tacos. Yeah. So we see him being terrible. Then being in terrible shape, I guess. Then 2006 Vampiro shows back up in the park and he's just like, you know what I want to do? I want to play video games and go to the park with my daughter, and that's it. And it's like, I can totally understand that, Vampiro.
Yep.
However, you have done nothing to perpetuate that because you continue to do all this other stuff.
It's got to be because he has no money. I mean, that's got to be the biggest reason.
He kind of alludes,
part of it.
Alludes to that. There's nothing else he could do. But he could be a commentator. He could be a commentator and not wrestle. He could be a booker.
I think, though, like most wrestlers, like he'll say, I don't want to do it, but he does want to do it.
So that's exactly what happened. We see him hurt. He can barely walk. He goes to the rock and roll doctor's office. And rock and roll doctor, as most doctors say, he says, you just got to fucking stop. That's a direct quote from rock and roll doctor. As doctors
can't fucking do this anymore.
Doctors just talk like that, Can't fucking do this anymore, man. I'm a doctor. I have a stethoscope around my neck, so I definitely am legit.
Was this also the point where he says, well, when Vampiro first came to me, we took just a bunch of x-rays of his body, and I looked at him, I'm like, how are you moving? How are you able to
How do you still move? I guess that's where the 85% arthritis things come from.
Yeah.
we talk about Dasha, how she has to stay by herself when Vampiro goes on a 4-day trip to Mexico or Los Angeles. And he incessantly calls her to check up on her, and she's like, nothing is happening. Just at the house. Again, nothing is happening. But
what I did like was he mentioned that like he's like, yeah, these phone calls aren't really for you, they're for me. Like I understand that you're doing okay, but I'm not doing okay, so that's why I'm calling. And that, like, when I heard that, I was like, oh god, that hits.
Oh, are you turning a baby face on Vampiro?
I was
right
like,
now?
oh, Vampiro. Oh, I feel for you, man. I feel for you.
He cut to his daughter's graduation from, I think, high school, because I don't think they do graduations for anything else. And she's graduating, and Vampiro is there. And this is what I love, the everyday life that like, what does he do when he gets milk? Does he put on his finest, whatever this thing was, his
cloak?
His
oh, this is definitely his dress-up clothes.
Cloak? What is this thing?
This is dress-up clothes.
He looks ridiculous. Everybody's looking like a normal graduation, and there he is in this guy who wants no attention and no one to talk to him, wearing a giant cloak. What the hell?
It's a lovely red jacket.
It is floor length. It's not just a jacket, it's floor length. And then I enjoyed this. He goes to the vending machine and he punches it. He's mad about something because it wouldn't take the money. That's right. He puts $1 in and it won't take it, so he punches the vending machine. Which, okay, we've all done it. But he punches the vending machine in front of like the principal, right? Was that the principal? And he looks at him and he's like, "I guess I shouldn't have punched that, right?" Like, no, and
he's actually questioning.
Should
I have done that?
You should not be here in your devil robe, and you should not be punching my vending machines. Oh my god! Where is the other question the whole time? Like, where is Vampiro's ex-wife? Because he talks about how he has this wife and he loves her and da 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 da. And
they talk about the wedding a little bit, right?
And they show pictures from the wedding, and then he says that he quit the business for her, basically, and that she left him right after that.
That was when he broke his neck from WCW, and then she left him too.
And she left him right after that. So
it also seems like she had custody of their daughter for most of that time until
because she says like recently? I came to live with my dad or something like that.
So
when she was a teenager.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know what the story is there, but her mom is at the graduation ceremony because we see them together. And Dash talks about how her mom is kind of crazy in one way and her dad is kind of crazy in another way. So who knows what the hell's going on here? But also, like, you just let your daughter leave and go and live with Vampiro? Like, really?
There's a chance that might not have been like her choice.
Maybe
she might have been in worse shape.
Yeah. You think there was problems with her? That's what I thought. Like Vampiro had to come in. I don't think Vampiro is like I'll say this. I don't think he's like trying to put his daughter in a bad position. I think he genuinely cares about his daughter and wants her to do well. And is fine. But also he's fucking Vampiro. He does
exactly
crazy shit. He hangs out with the fucking weirdos in Canada and does giant lines of coke and all this other stuff, and then you're gonna just let her go hang out with him. But okay. They talk about Vampiro shouldn't wrestle. He's good at producing shows, and that he should just do that, like the people in Mexico and stuff, and the Lucha Underground producers and stuff say that too. And then he goes, I really feel calm and like a peace when I'm producing. Like, no, you don't.
Sure don't.
You do not. It literally shows you in the first minute of the movie being not calm, being insane, and flipping the fuck out. And also, he rips off the microphone and gives it to the documentary crew and says, I better give this to you before I break it.
Well, to be fair, I think that was right before he went out to face Johnny.
Oh, you think that's why?
I think so. I think that one was like, I'm gonna like take a bump just now.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
I feel calm producing. Yeah, I bet you do. We finally get to Triple Mania 2018. And it took a long time, but we finally got him.
We made it.
We made it. We finally got LA Park. He showed up. He's all busted up and bloody.
Mm-hmm.
This was the infamous Triple Mania, not the other infamous Triple Mania. This is the one. So I was getting very excited because they show Turn the Motherfucking Music On. They show the clip for Turn the Motherfucking Music On.
And with Stryker going like, just go.
Yeah.
You
I
don't
think
need
the
your
point
music,
has
man.
passed for your music. You can
The
probably
greatest-
just go.
The greatest thing ever, where he got called out by Conan and he wouldn't go in the ring because he needed his music to play and nobody was playing it. If you haven't seen it, it's the funniest thing ever. It's so good.
Good.
Not great to put on your TV show, but
No.
great for me. So we see the Conan and Vampiro face off, and they talk about this match that never happens, really.
Does it never pay off?
It sort of does. We see a kind
They
of
fight a
clip.
little bit, yeah.
We see, they punched each other at one point.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't actually wrestle a match.
Thank God.
Conan,
No one wants to see two 60-year-old men wrestle a match.
Conan got him all fired up, got Vampiro all fired up because he talked about how he was Dasha's real father. Oh my God!
Yeah.
That's
Conan!
a promo, all right.
Conan, what are you doing?
That is definitely a
Ooh.
real life heat.
That is a
Between
line
them.
cross.
That's not a oh, I'm just gonna try to get some heat on myself and I'll say some stuff about you. That's a, you know what, fuck you. I'm the dad of your daughter. I'm her real father. Fuck
Oh
you.
my God!
Jesus, Conan.
Conan, what are you doing?
That's heat
I'm
in
gonna
Mexico, brother.
I'm gonna go to Canada.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, yeah.
That's basically how it ends. We see the next thing is like a little thing about how Conan has early onset Alzheimer's. So
Which I remember when he announced that.
Vampiro.
right,
Vampiro.
rock and roll doctor said he might get dementia, but apparently he was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, which, you know, 25 concussions and more craziness. Yeah, you can see that coming a mile away.
Yep.
We do see him after he's told never to wrestle again, told he has Alzheimer's. We see him fighting K-Dog, fighting Conan in the middle of the ring, punching each other at some other event. It's not a match, but we see that. And then we get some kind of credit thing, and it says Vampiro isn't actually worried about Alzheimer's. He's worried about Parkinson's because he won't be able to play PlayStation if he gets Parkinson's. So as long as he can play PlayStation, he's going to be
video games.
just fine. That's all he talks about throughout the whole thing. I want to hang out with my daughter and play PlayStation, which is like another like, oh, all right, Vampiro. I get that. I play PlayStation all the time too. Also don't want to have a match at 60. That's probably not a good idea. So that was it. That was Vampiro. The nail in the coffin, which was...
They don't talk about Japan at all.
Right. Never talk about Japan. They barely cover his actual thing that I really wanted to know about his early Mexican career. Like, who did he feud with? What happened here? What happened there? Like, there's no way you could have covered any of that. Like, that's bizarre to me that they didn't go into any of that. It was so glossed over. The WCW thing was like a hot minute.
Yeah, there could have been more.
Could have been way more to that.
Because that was my memory of him in WCW is like, why is this like Sting lookalike here? Why is Sting fighting Sting?
Why is this a mirror match right now? I think there were some missteps of like things they could have done, but it was an hour and a half, so I guess there was a lot. It was
a half hour too long.
They did not show the entire put the motherfucking music on, which also bummed me out. Like, there was so much to it. It was so long. It was like 6 minutes of turn the fucking music on.
Just go.
I wish we had seen the whole clip just so I could see it again. So I'm gonna have to watch it again.
The like big takeaways were he's very confident about what he was in the early 90s in AAA. He's also all about like his daughter and like trying to be a good father, and that's pretty much all I took away. And he hates people. He actually does hate people. That's what I've
Which
taken away
again,
from
I get. If you're famous and you
documentary.
hate people,
Fair.
that's fine. But you're
Yeah,
famous.
like
you
you
chose
see,
to be famous. You chose to go to a park. You
you
chose.
saw him at one time. He's just sitting like eating something in a
Right.
restaurant, and this guy is hanging over the
Right.
thing,
Which is,
trying to
I
get
would
an
hate.
autograph.
I gotta admit, I would
Yeah.
hate that. But also, I wouldn't wear a fucking cloak to my daughter's graduation if I didn't want people talking to me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that either. I don't know. And
I
he
did
could have,
love
like,
the
he could have disappeared from wrestling. There's no reason he could have,
well.
I
not
honestly
if
don't think that he ever
she's-
really wanted to, though.
That doesn't seem that way. Yeah, he says he does. He says he hates it and never wants.
Yeah, but all wrestlers say that, and then they all come back, and I feel like he's part of that.
He absolutely is. Yeah, I thought it was great.
One of my favorite parts though was when he was in the park,
Right.
this 2006 documentary, and this little kid asked him for an autograph, and he's signing the autograph, and he just goes, "I fucking hate people."
And why there's a
in
kid
front
right
of
there.
the little kid. I was like, Jesus Christ. This guy-
Yeah.
Oy.
Apparently, people in Canada don't give a fuck about Vampiro. They just let him do whatever. He's just the
Yeah.
weird guy in the corner. It's like,
Yeah.
You
oh,
wanna
there's
do what?
Vampiro's house. He's weird.
Guardian Angels,
too-
yeah, as long as you do it on your own, you don't have to.
We have to, do we
You
have
wear
to pay
whatever
for
hat
this?
you want to wear. Yeah.
You want to wear that stupid hat? Go
You want
ahead.
to wear that beret? I don't care.
You want to wear that beret? Oh my god! Of course he did that. That's it. That's Vampiro. I would encourage anyone to go watch this. It is incredible.
I don't
There's
know
so-
if I would encourage them to, but I would encourage them not to.
It was so good. Come on.
It was
It was everything I
too
wanted.
long.
It was
too
everything I
long.
wanted.
That is the best
Not-
description. It is
not-
everything that Ryan Murray wanted.
It's everything I wanted. Nobody else but me. It could have been another hour and a half. All right, Bill, you're up next.
I want to take us back to the cinema, to the movies.
Back to the movies.
Uh,
Oh wait, you're not
2000
gonna pick a Milli Vanilli concert to go off of what I did last time? How you like?
Are you asking for a Milli Vanilli concert? Because I'm sure I could find one.
Well, last time you went off of my Lucha Underground thing, so you're not gonna.
No, this is a different direction. That's something
Okay.
that we talked about a while ago, and then I don't know. I rediscovered it recently. A classic from 2008, featuring
Oh, no.
our dude Tiny Lister, aka Zeus.
Of course, Tiny.
Oh.
A classic from
It's a
2008.
little bit longer than I would normally want to watch, but
Oh no.
we'll be watching and reviewing The Dark Knight,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. The original Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's
the second of the three movies.
Oh, number 2.
Oh,
the
yeah,
good
right.
one. The very,
He's,
very good
The
one.
Dark Knight is the one with Heath Ledger.
Wow.
He's
I
the
didn't know
one
Tiny
that-
was in that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's on the boat. He's the prisoner that
Yeah, he's
throws
like,
the
Give me the device.
device.
I will do what you
Yes.
should have done 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. That's good. He's good in that. Yeah.
He is good.
He's
in it,
so
yeah.
good.
Tiny.
He's man.
There's
Tiny
a lot of
Lister.
good stuff about this movie.
You were saying who's so good? Heath Ledger or Tiny Lister?
Yeah.
Tiny Lister. He's so
Okay,
good in it.
good. Good. He is good in this. It's what, like, maybe his best thing he ever did, besides Friday.
He's very
Nothing
good
will
at
ever
it.
beat Friday.
Yeah.
Friday's the best. We still have. I just want to point this out. Friday, the next day after, or whatever that one, the
Next
second
Fri-
Friday.
Yeah,
Next Friday.
Friday?
Sorry,
Next
next Friday. He's in that, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's a big part of that movie.
Yeah, that's a good
Mhm.
movie too.
I
We
forgot.
never
about
watched
that.
that.
We haven't.
We watched Friday, but yeah, I think you're right.
I think it's hard to find. It's harder to find next Friday. I don't know.
I'm
where
sure of
it's-
that,
where
yeah.
it's available because Dark Knight's on Netflix.
Out
right?
on Tubi.
Dark Knight is on Netflix, so you
Yes,
don't have
it
to
is.
watch it with commercials. That's how I rediscovered it. I was like, oh yes, I forgot about this. I watched the first one recently too. Still not great. Still
Does-
probably the worst of the three.
Does no? Oh my God! 3 is god
Oh, 3
awful.
3 is way worse.
3 is
3 is-
god awful. 3. I remember being so excited to go to 3. I guess we could talk about this in the show, but being so mad, so mad at 3 because 2 was so good. Like,
Yeah.
what did they do? There's
Heath
no.
Ledger is what I don't mean
guess
like in a
ruined
blameful way, just like him
No,
dying
yeah.
like ruined the whole thing.
Obviously, he was supposed to come back.
Because even Christopher Nolan had said like I wanted to make like 3 more of these movies with him,
Yeah.
and then he was just gone.
Based on the way it ends. Yeah, I guess we'll talk more about that next week. But
We certainly will.
go watch the Vampiro documentary.
Yeah, if
Nail in
you
a Coffin.
want to, I guess.
It's free. What are you doing?
With commercials.
I mean,
There's
with commercials.
So this is
The
this is
way-
a 2 hours.
the
of
way
your life.
Tubi does commercials, though, it's like 2. It's really
No.
not that many.
Uh,
How many was it?
They
How
come
many
out
ad-
of nowhere too.
Yeah,
Like,
they
they're
don't
not
warn
in,
you.
like good spots to go to an ad break. They're just
Hulu-
like, oh, here's an ad.
Hulu warns you for every ad break, and there's like
Yes.
little notches on the bottom where you're like, okay, here comes an ad break. Tubi's just like,
Tubi, it's
ad,
just,
fucking ad.
guess when?
All right, that's it. Let's go home. All right, peace out.
I'm already
everybody.
home.
Let's go home, as in like a wrestling match. Peace out.
Okay.